प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So today we are going to start the fourth chapter of Nectar devotion. So in the third chapter, the title was eligibility of the candidate for accepting devotional service. So for accepting any service, we have to have adhikar. We have to have qualification. For example, in order to become a father, you should have qualification because Krishna decides which soul to send where, right? In order to become a mother, you have to have qualification. In order to become a disciple of a spiritual master, you should have qualification. In order to do deity worship, you have to have qualification. So, in order to accept devotional service, also there should be some qualification. And what is this qualification? What is this qualification? Pawan Prabhu, you remember? If you have little bit of attraction for Krishna, that is the preliminary qualification, preliminary eligibility. And if you have unalloyed devotion towards Krishna, unflinching attraction, then it becomes you have become totally eligible. So there are different degrees of eligibility. For example, when we start preaching, like we went to your college, so there were so many devotees, so many students were there. 100 people were there in the first class, but only 20-25 people came for MMC, and finally only 9 people are regularly chanting at least 8 rounds. So why did people leave at every juncture? Because of lack of qualification, lack of sukriti. You may encounter a pure devotee on the road, but you will not be able to recognize him unless you have sukriti. It takes one to know one. So, in order to understand that we don't belong to this material world, we are actually part of spiritual world. It requires sukriti. It requires qualification and it requires good association from multiple births, and that association should be cultivated basically. That seed of brahman brahmite kon bhagyavan ji guru krishna prasade by bhakti lata. So by the mercy of guru and krishna we are getting this seed of devotion, but it is our duty to water it, to give proper sunlight, to protect it from other undesirable elements. Just like when you sow a seed and the seed develops into a plant only if you protect it nicely. If you don't protect it, then some cow will come, some dog will come, it will eat it. So that's why now the seed has been given. Now it is our duty to water it, to nourish it, and be in this eagerness to receive devotion and eagerness to ask questions, right? Eagerness to connect with Krishna and senior devotees, eagerness to receive higher knowledge. For example, nectar devotion also, it's not for everyone. This is the last module of this Bhakti Shastri. So somehow we are reading, but actually we are not so qualified to read this. It requires mode of goodness even to understand Bhagavad Gita. What to speak of nectar devotion, which is actually discussing a lot of subtle aspects of devotional service. So in the second chapter, we discussed about different stages. What are the what was the heading of second chapter? The first stages of devotional service, of devotion, right? So there are three stages of devotional service, and every stage has its two symptoms: sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, prema bhakti. Sadhana bhakti has which two symptoms? Anybody remembers? Sadhana bhakti has klesha, agni, and shubhada. So as soon as you would start practicing devotional service, if you are under the right guidance, you will experience some joy, some bliss. Your life, just like when you meet your girlfriend, like you make a girlfriend for the first time, you experience some joy, right? Your subtle mind experiences change, transformation. So similarly, when you first come in contact with a devotee, with a pure devotee, and you perform devotional service under his guidance, then you experience a lot of joy. That is called Shubhada. Your life becomes full of auspiciousness. And in turn, you will see that all the distress which was previously there because of Maya, because of bodily discomforts, everything slowly, slowly it goes away. You become totally joyful. And that is also known as beginner's luck, basically. And once Krishna gives that mercy to a person who has just started devotional service, then slowly, slowly he starts showing his own anarthas. Then Krishna comes out of the box. Our Guru Maharaj says Krishna comes out of the box. So Krishna coming out of the box means then there will be various challenges because we have declared now that we want to surrender to Krishna because devotional service is so great and the aim of life is to surrender to Krishna and go back to Godhead. So we will surrender to Krishna. But then Maya says, really, you want to surrender? Then I like we don't want any insincere people in Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan. So why not have this little bit test? So Maya then keeps on testing us. Either it is interaction of the senses with sense objects, or it is some challenge in our life. It can be a challenge in relationships with devotees. It can be a challenge in occupational duty. It can be a challenge related to health. Because once we experience joy, then we would like to come to the right standard, right? We want to wake up for Mangal Aarti at 4:30. We want to do Gaur Aarti. We want to offer our whatever we have cooked. We want to offer Bhoga to the Lord. So all these things we are trying our best because we have experienced that mercy from Guru and Krishna. But as we, so that's why it is called gradual process because surrender. Obviously, there are personalities like King Kulasekara, right? And there is one king, I'm forgetting his name. He says that it takes only one moment to surrender, right? We just surrender. But for conditioned souls like us who have been engrossed in sense gratification for multiple births, we have to take incremental steps towards Krishna. If we take one step towards Krishna, Krishna will take 100 steps towards us. And there is no doubt. Only thing is, we have to be conscious and we have to be in the association of devotees. Then you will feel it. For example, so many Maharajas are there in ISKCON. Recently, many good preachers are getting initiated to become Maharaj. And so many projects they are doing. And ultimately, every project, Krishna is sending some instrument to them to complete that project. So, no doubt, Krishna is the controller, right? And once Krishna takes full responsibility of a devotee, then it is only devotee's responsibility to remember that relationship with Krishna. If he always remains aware of his relationship with Krishna, then obviously Krishna arranges everything for him. Okay. So small, small challenges, small, small mistakes, Krishna ignores, but we have to be conscious about our relationship with Krishna. Then Krishna will send all kind of support in your life so that you can advance towards him. Okay. So Krishna knows what how much attachment we have, how much attraction we have towards the activities of devotional service. And seeing that attachment and attraction, he sends more. Yeah. He gives us time to read scriptures. Who is getting time to read scriptures? Today only I was hearing Maharaj's lecture. So there are these six vices, right? Six enemies: Kam, Krodha, Lobh, Mad, Matsarya, right? Lust, anger, greed, envy, and illusion, Mada, intoxication. So out of these six enemies, five can be directly dovetailed in Krishna's service: lust, greed, anger, and illusion and intoxication. So you can dovetail lust by begetting Krishna conscious children, and you can dovetail anger by getting angry on those who are offending devotees. For example, Hanuman became angry on Ravan and he burnt entire Lanka. And Krishna incited Arjuna's anger in Bhagavad Gita so that Arjuna is ready to fight. Without anger, you cannot fight the battle. And lust, greed, and greed can be dovetailed by becoming greedy for spiritual knowledge, by becoming greedy for reading books which has been given by Srila Prabhupada. So I was thinking that now is the time to dovetail my greed, because whenever we go some transition in life, whenever there is a major change, either in ashrama or in varna, then mind tests a lot. For sure, it will test, and the old vasanas come back. So greed is the major thing, because of which we are not able to sustain our devotion. We are not able to go forward. So that's why the most important thing is to dovetail our greed, to read scriptures, to cultivate this knowledge, to internalize the bhakti shakti, the bhakti rasa from the mouth of pure devotees, from the mouth of senior devotees. So when we do that, then actually our greed for material things will reduce. We will develop a higher taste for reading nectar devotion, for asking questions, right? विषयावनि वर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिना रसोवर्जं रसोप्यस्य परम दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते. So just like if you have a Mercedes car, you would not like to drive an auto. So similarly, once you develop taste for hearing, taste for reading scriptures in a systematic way in the association of devotees, just like we are reading Bhagavatam, 6th chapter, first canto, if we develop that taste, if we develop a comprehensive understanding of these scriptures and then apply something, some minute thing in our life, and then get some realization, jnana and vijnana, then surely we will not leave it. It will stay with us eternally if we get one realization. And in order to stick that realization in our consciousness, we have to do continuous sacrifice. Every moment we have to sacrifice, or not every moment, at least some sacrifice we should do. Either we are traveling or we are serving the devotees, we are doing some little service, some menial service. Our Shiksha Guru used to say that the real taste of Krishna consciousness comes when we do menial services, like cleaning the toilet, like that basically. Some menial service we have to do, because humility is the start of devotional service. Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, shantiraj. Okay, we'll continue this summarizing this chapter and then read the fourth chapter. Yeah, and then they are giving the support of scripture, that how by developing attraction for Krishna we become eligible to devotional service. Because once we get attracted, then we develop faith. Ado Shraddha Tatak Sadhu Sangha. When we are attached, when we are attracted, then we develop faith. Then we would like to do bhajan in the association of Sadhu Sangha. And then Anartha Nivritti starts. And such a person is neither too attached nor too detached with the material world. He is not very much agitated by the conflagration of the material world, and he is not too much attached. Whatever Krishna is giving, he is happy. And such a person can achieve perfection through the path of loving devotion of loving devotion towards Krishna. And then we covered the three levels of devotion, three levels of devotees: Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Kanishtadhikari, and various levels of study of scriptures. For example, Madhyamadhikari is not perfect in explaining or preaching the conclusion of scriptures to others, but Uttamadhikari is. But Madhyamadhikari has sufficient amount of faith in scriptures that this is correct. But Kanishtadhikari, he doesn't even have faith on the injunctions of the scriptures. For example, in Bhagavad Gita, it's written, Deva Dvij Guru Pragya, Pujanam Shocham Arjavam, Brahmacharya Mahinsacha, Shariram Tapo Uchate. So the right austerity for body is to give respect to the Brahmanas, to the Vaishnavas, to the senior devotees in practicing celibacy and non-violence. Brahmacharya Ahimsa. So a Kanishtadhikari will not have such faith. He is saying, "Oh no, this is not senior devotee. He has so many faults. He will not respect him." So that's how like he is not able to walk the talk. What he is speaking or what he is hearing from senior devotees, he is not able to apply. So like this, we discussed about the three levels of devotees, and then further Kanishtadhikaris are classified into four classification. Chaturvida Bhajante Mam, Jana Sukritino Arjuna, Jigyasu Artharthi, Gyani Cha Bharatarshava. So distressed, desirous of wealth, inquisitive, and wise. So all these four are classified into the class of Kanishtadhikari. And which one is the best? Whom Krishna favors the most, likes the most? Out of these four, anybody? Simran Matari? Wise. Why? Ah. So they are not taking their own motivation. Distress is taking his own motivation. I want to get out of this miserable situation. Please relieve me of this disease. I've got such a vulnerable disease. Artha is going to the Lord for wealth. For example, Dhruv Maharaj. Inquisitive also, they are not so basically eager to know about Krishna, but they want to know what is happening, why we are here, what is the cause, where we are going. But Gyani, he has already cultivated some knowledge for Krishna, and he wants to advance his knowledge, and that's why he is approaching Krishna. That's why this Gyani is most liked by Krishna among these four types of Kanishadhikari. So that is the approach which a disciple also should follow. Disciple should work hard from his side, whatever he can. If he has some question, he should introspect. For example, he is given some service, right? He does for 1 hour, 2 hour, and again he has some doubts. Immediately he goes to the spiritual master. Okay, I have done this service for 2 hours. This problem I am facing. Tell me what to do. This is not so good. If you can further refine what you are doing, you can just write down what doubts you are facing, and then again wake up early in the morning to next day, do good sadhana, good service, good association with devotees. Then again think about those doubts. Then it might be a possibility that you are able to solve those doubts instead of bothering the spiritual master again and again. So that's why this Gyani is liked by Krishna the most, because he has done his homework and he is approaching Krishna for further advancement. Okay. And then Prabhupada is saying that all eligible candidates for devotional service must get rid of themselves from desire for mukti and mukti, because these are compared to pishachi. Because if we have such desires, real devotional service will never enter in our heart. These desires are like witches. Witches, right? They do some jadoo tona and you will not be able to think anything. You are totally mesmerized by that jadoo tona. So that's why bhakti mukti. And then Prabhupada is given example that There are devotees who don't care for bhakti or mukti. First, he gives example of Bilva Mangla Thakur. Then he gives example of how Kapila Muni is explaining that to Devavati. Then Uddhava is also telling to Krishna, and Kapila Muni is again telling to Devavati in this verse. And then finally, Dhruv Maharaj, while glorifying the Lord after he had darshan of the Lord, he is explaining that devotees do not care for bhakti or mukti; they are just concerned by the service to the transcendental form of the Lord. Swarga apavarga apitulyati darshana. So devotee doesn't care whether he is in hell or heaven unless he is given service to the lotus feet of devotees and Krishna. So even Bhakti Vinod Thakur is praying to be born as an insect, as a worm in the house of a devotee. Taking birth in the house of a devotee as a worm is far better than taking birth as Lord Brahma. He's saying that in one of the songs. Why? Anybody knows? Anybody can guess? Why? Why Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying that let me be born as a worm, worm in the house of a devotee rather than Lord Brahma. Yes, Simran Mataji, who is the third person? Hare Krishna, Prabhu Prabhu बताइए. Yes, Prabhu, yes. So Brahma, although Lord Brahma is a very like amazing personality, he is higher than all of us. But still, he himself he wants to create. He doesn't have so much like unflinching attachment to lotus feet of Krishna. But if you are born in a house of a devotee who is doing all the devotional activities like Bhakti Vinod Thakur, then immediately you will be given the chance of taking prasadam, है ना? Grihete golok bhaya. So that house will be like a golok Vrindavan, where all the time the Ganges will come out from the lotus feet of Krishna. So that is the reason. Basically, you get the opportunity to serve the lotus feet of Krishna in the house of a devotee. Throughout the day, you are taking this. For example, there are so many dogs in Vrindavan. Whenever devotees come out of the temple to give parikrama, immediately he goes in front of the devotees, and these dogs they try to make way for the devotee if there are for the group of devotees. If there is any obstacle, there is any cow, there is any dog who is a stray dog, they will remove that dog. So like this, these dogs have actually done a lot of devotional service in Vrindavan. This is their last birth actually. So that's why even to take birth as a flower in Vrindavan, that is far more better than taking birth of as a human also. Yeah. Somebody's asking something. Yeah, Ravi Prabhu, yes. Tell me. Yes. Like these animals, they know better. Every body has a basically fragrance, and these animals, they are able to figure out that which person is will protect us. So I will also tell you that when I was in AVIT Chennai, like I used to get prasadam from devotees last 2 3 days. So there used to be a very nice breeze outside the hostel. So I never took prasadam in the room. I came out, sat on the bench, and then took prasadam. So many two dogs were there, and there was a cat also. They used to come, and I used to give them little bit. So their actually devotional service starts by this actually, and they even our Maharaj was telling that even Prabhupada's father, he used to feed all the rats in the house, whatever 3 4 rats were there. And this is real Grahast ashram. Real Grahast ashram means before taking your meal, you should go outside and scream out loud. "Ki, is there anybody who is hungry? First you take meal, then I will take." That is real Grahast ashram. We are living Grahamedi only. And you can see from Prabhupada's father's life. So he had a shop of cloth. So those rats who used to take prasadam, they never used to eat the cloth. They only took prasadam, which is Prabhupada's father used to give. So actually, Grahast ashram is meant for giving. It is meant for sustaining every other thing. All the other three ashramas, all the animals, they depend on the consciousness of the Grahastha. So if as a Grahastha you are living in the temple, nothing like that. At the time of Prabhupada, 95% of the Grahasthas were in temple, who were devotees. And now in Kali Yuga, 95% of them are out. Even I can say 99%. So the equation has changed a lot. Previously, Prabhupada was telling in one of the lectures that 90, 95% of the population used to be brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyasi. Only 5% population used to enter grahastha. And those grahasthas are also like brahmachari and vanaprasthi only, because their houses were always open. Any vanaprasth can come, any brahmachari can come. They can take prasadam, they can discuss about Krishna, they can preach the holy names of the Lord. So their grahastha ashram was also practically like brahmachari and vanaprastha only, because of the strength which was there in the society. So much good positive energy was there. So even Sukhdev Goswami is going to house of different grasta daily and taking one glass of milk. So that grasta becomes benefited a lot. So like this, yeah, like the entire social paradigm has changed in last 20 years due to this technology advancement. The vice has increased. But yeah, like wherever, for example, wherever there is mercy of a spiritual master, you can still see in Pune, in Bangalore, in Chicago. There are still some congregations where there is a lot of openness of heart. They are ready to give to others because they have received so much from their spiritual master. So we have to receive and then give, receive and then give. So by giving we receive. Actually, that is our Vedic formula. It never stops. By giving we receive more. So by giving you Krishna Katha, I am receiving. My filters are going up. My Sukriti is increasing. So this is one of the Vedic principles. Thank you. Yeah. We are all together in the same boat actually. Similar incidents happen. Radharani has brought all of us together for a reason, because we will have similar challenges. Mm, yeah. We'll have similar types of challenges, similar type of struggles in the life. So if somebody else already has seen that struggle, then the other person can help. So there is a reason for which Krishna has brought us together. So we have to see that reason and recognize and remember Krishna and help each other. Yeah, and advance together. Okay, thank you, bro. So let's start reading the fourth chapter. Okay, devotional service surpasses all liberation. So this is important chapter because, yeah, it's very difficult to understand these high philosophy. But let's see. How much a devotee is seriously attached to the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be understood from the statement of Maharaj Prithu, which is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 20th chapter, verse 24. Okay, let's recite this verse also. 20th chapter, verse 24. Oh, wow. Okay, this is, let's not recite that. He prays to Krishna, "My dear Lord, if after taking liberation I have no chance of hearing the glories of your Lordship, glories chanted by pure devotees from the core of their hearts in praise of your lotus feet, and if I have no chance for this honey of transcendental bliss, then I shall never ask for liberation or this so called spiritual emancipation." Yeah. So that is why liberation is condemned by the devotees of the Lord. Because when you get liberated, what will you do? You will just hang into the impersonal Brahmajyoti. You will not have this opportunity of tasting the bhakti rasa, tasting the lotus feet of the Lord, doing direct service. One time I remember I ironed the dhoti of my Guru Maharaj, and actually, like, I could feel that dhoti was non-different from the bliss which we experience by his sound vibration. That that dhoti was totally submerged in Madhurya Rasa. I can immediately realize, actually, by Maharaj's mercy only, that Lord Chaitanya has come to give this gift of Raja Bhakti. And our Guru Maharaj is a classic example of distributing Raja Bhakti to all of us. Only thing is, we have to become qualified to see that. Now I cannot see. Like, now my consciousness is not so refined that I can see it. But this was, I think, for 5 years back when Maharaj came to Bangalore. I got this opportunity to iron his dhoti, and immediately I was like, I felt enlivened by just touching his dhoti. So yeah, like, ye yathamam prapadyante tam sate bhajamyo. Even Shamananda Pandit, he was just enlivened by touching the pile of Radharani. So these things are not just myths or stories; these are practical. And if you maintain your consciousness, if you try to serve, sacrifice all the time, if you take guidance from right qualified devotees, then these things you can also experience. As I told, right, every Vrajvasi has this potency to take darshan of Radharani, to feel her presence all the time, in his dreams, in his activities. Always Radharani will bless all the Vrajvasis. There is no doubt in that. It is up to us that how much we take shelter of her, actually. Okay. I shall simply always pray unto your lordship that you may give me millions of tongues and millions of ears, so that I can constantly chant and hear of your transcendental glories. Yeah. So Prithu Maharaj is telling this, that I can have hundreds of ears and tongues, so that I can taste and hear your beautiful holy name and glories. So this is all experiential. We cannot understand this unless we experience. Experiential learning. There was a topic in teacher training course too. So proof of the pudding is in the eating. So when you eat it, then you experience the bliss, then you eat it more. When you eat it more, you experience more bliss, and you eat it more. So this eating can be increased only for spiritual things. For material things, on one level, your body will give up. This body cannot do lot of sex also. It cannot do lot of intoxication. It cannot do anything which gives material pleasure. Actually, that's why human life is meant for self realization. That is the only thing which it can do continuously. On Nirjal Ekadashi, you can sit for 12 hours on a single place discussing Krishna Katha. How? Because there is special mercy of the Lord, and all these activities prove that actually we are on the right path. This is the reality. In Rath Yatra, we are dancing for 24 hours. Who can dance? Nobody can dance. Only in the spiritual world these things happen. So we are very fortunate actually to experience the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. We should retain it, we should conserve it, we should maintain it. And this is the only way of conserving, maintaining, that we come together and discuss, read his books, and discuss our realizations, and be respectful to each other, acknowledge each other's preferences, acknowledge each other's devotion in their heart. Everybody is carrying devotion in this group, whoever is present right now. So be aware of that and serve in that way. The impersonalists desire to merge into the existence of the Supreme, but without keeping their individuality, they have no chance of hearing and chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord. Because they have no idea of the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord, there is no chance of their chanting and hearing of his transcendental activities. In other words, unless one is already beyond depression, one cannot relish the transcendental glories of the Lord, nor can one understand the transcendental form of the Lord. Hmm. So Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na Shochati na Kanchati Samak Sarveshu Bhuteshu Madbhaktim Labhate Param. So unless we are on the Brahma Bhuta platform, we cannot feel the Sachidanand Vigraha form of the Lord. Krishna will be merciful, he might give some glimpses, he might give some drops of mercy. But constant experience of the association of Krishna can be experienced only in Brahma Bhuta stage. That's why Brahman initiation is important. Once you are Brahman initiated, then you are free from your family obligations or like material occupational duty obligations. Then you chant Gayatri 3 times a day, you are in the association of the Lord. So that is nearly liberation actually. Okay. Next paragraph, somebody, Simran Mataji, want to read? Or Pawan Ro? Yeah, go ahead. पवन प्रभु आपको दिख रहा है? अच्छा, नहीं दिख रहा क्या? हेडिंग वाला? ओके. अब दिख. हाँ, श्योर. Can you explain what you read? Yes, yes, yes. And still, goddess of Lakshmi was so compassionate on him that he gave him all the material wealth. So जनरली ऐसे ही होता है, जो लोग नहीं चाहते हैं उनको मिल जाता है, और जो लोग चाहते होते हैं वो बेचारे रोते ही रह जाते हैं उस चाहत में। अभी परसों मैं एक डिवोटी से बात कर रहा था, वो यही कह रहा था कि जब मैं चाहता था कि मैं कुछ बनाऊँ, कुछ करूँ भगवान के लिए, तो कुछ नहीं दे रहे थे भगवान, और अब अपने आप ही भगवान देते जा रहे हैं। तो मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि अभी कर लेते हैं, अब चाहते हैं भगवान करना। तो वही होता है हर चीज़ का, समय से पहले और वक्त से ज़्यादा, कहते हैं ना, वक्त से पहले और किस्मत से ज़्यादा, करेक्ट। वक्त से पहले और किस्मत से ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं मिलता बेसिकली। ठीक है। In the Bhagavatam 6th canto 11th chapter verse 25, there is a similar statement by Vritrasura, who addresses the Lord as follows: My dear Lord, by leaving your transcendental service, I may be promoted to the planet called Dhruvaloka, the pole star, or I may gain lordship over all the planetary systems of the universe. But I do not aspire to do this, nor do I wish the mystic perfection of yoga practice, nor do I aspire to spiritual emancipation. All I wish for, my Lord, is your association and transcendental service eternally. So Vritrasura is saying that I just want the association of Narad Muni. I just want to discuss Krishna Katha in his association. I don't want anything else. I don't want to promote to Dhruvaloka. Yeah, I don't want any lordship over any other planets. I just want your service, your association of devotees. This statement is confirmed by Lord Shiva in Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 17th chapter, verse 28, wherein Lord Shiva addresses Sati thus: My dear Sati, persons who are devoted to Narayan are not afraid of anything. If they are elevated to the higher planetary systems, or if they get liberation from material contamination, or if they are pushed down to the hellish condition of life, or in fact in any situation, whatever, they are not afraid of anything. Yeah, simply because they have taken shelter of the lotus feet of Narayana. For them, any position in the material world is as good as another. So I was having hiccups. Like I'm not with my family right now for last 3 weeks. So I was thinking, how will I keep my Ekadashi, right? But somehow, what happened is, like, when I tried to fast, and I played similar songs which we used to play in the house, because every Ekadashi we do Abhishek, so we play Brahma Samhita, Udilevar, and those things. So when I started playing them, like immediately my Nitai Mayapur Chandra, they started giving me some glimpses. So like I was able to do everything, and they arranged whatever was needed for my survival. So Krishna protects. If you are sincere, he will protect for sure. There's no doubt. Okay, next paragraph, Pawan Ravu, you want to read? Uh, so our real self-interest is, what is our real self-interest? Control to serve Krishna, right? Nate vidu swarthagatem me Vishnu madhurashayaye vairarthamano. So, in engaging in devotional service to Lord Vishnu is our real self-interest. That is our real need, real spiritual need. Just like we eat to fulfilling our body, to nourish our body, we have to do these devotional activities to nourish our soul. That is the real self-interest. To to experience the presence of Krishna. In order, soul's real happiness is to always be in the association of the super soul. That is real happiness. In the seventh canto of the Bhagavatam, sixth chapter, verse 25, Prahlad Maharaj says, "My dear friends born into atheistic families, if you can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, then there is nothing more rare in this world. In other words, if the Supreme Lord Krishna is pleased with you, then any desire you may have within the core of your heart can be fulfilled without any doubt. As such, what is the use of elevating yourself by the results of fruitive activities, which are automatically achieved in all events by the modes of material nature?" Yeah. So actually, our Guru Maharaj is doing a seminar on envy. What is envy and how every living entity in this material world is affected by envy and what is its cure. So Maharaj was telling this only, that because of envy only we are not able to do services pleasing to Krishna. Because envy is eating us. It is not giving us the positive energy. It is telling us to bring the other person down. So there is only one solution, that we come out of this sense gratification process. So sense gratification, if it is done too much, then it leads to lust, because it is like putting ghee in the fire. The fire blazes more. Then once the lust increases, then you do more sense gratification. Then more sense gratification, then lust increases more. Then again. So this cycle actually, this increases the lust, and lust leads to anger and envy. And only way to get out of this is to respect, is to become humble, to respect. I would urge all of you to hear these lectures, very important. If you respect every living entity, if you respect the Supreme Lord which is sitting in that living entity, then you will never envy anybody. And you will never get this lot of urges to do sense gratification. So that is what Maharaj is telling through an entire seminar, by various stories, by various instances. And the cure of envy is appreciation and respect. Okay. In our shiksha time, like when I was in ashram, brahmacharya ashram, every day whenever for Mangalarti I used to go to devotee's house, we used to pay obeisances to each other. Just like we should pay obeisances to our guru whenever we wake up, we should pay obeisances to the devotees also. And we should pay obeisances to our parents if they are in the house. Of course, they might not understand. Parents might not, but that is the Vedic culture. We should do it, because you are actually giving respect to the super soul within their heart. You are reinstating your spiritual conception. These are not to. These days, people might say these are foolish persons. I don't know why they are doing so much hard work by going down. But actually, it purifies you. It increases your spiritual conception. Manmana bhava madbhakta madhyajimam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yukteva atmanam madparayana. So these are the four elementary things which Krishna is telling. Manmana bhava madbhakta. Always think about me. Manmana bhava madbhakta madhyaji mam namaskuru. You do namaskuru. You do namaste to me. You go down, pay obeisances to me. Mame vaishyasi yuktevam atmanam madparayana. So such a devotee can always be absorbed in Krishna. If you are always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord and always relishing the nectar of the lotus feet of the Lord, then there is no necessity for any of these. By this statement of Prahlad Maharaj, it is clearly understood that one who takes pleasure in chanting and hearing the transcendental glories of the Lord has already surpassed all kinds of material benedictions, including the results of pious fruitive activities, sacrifices, and even liberation from material bondage. Okay. So, yeah, this is something beyond our reach. We are all struggling in our difficult situation. But yeah, Maharaj is conducting Vrindavan Yatra, so I hope all of you will come to that. Please register if possible. We'll at least be there for 2 3 days. We'll meet Maharaj together. Okay, Pawan Prabhu, you will come for one day. Out. Yeah, you are going there, na? In October, don't keep. Chalo, I hope you do nicely. You want to read Prabhu, Ravi Prabhu? No problem. I will read. But you are so kind toward us that by killing him, you have removed that fear from within our hearts, and have given us the chance to place your lordship within our hearts again. So actually, this envy makes us more and more fearful and anxietyful. But when our spiritual conception is reinstated, when our anarthas go away, when we receive the mercy, then those fears are also removed. Same Prahlad Maharaj is saying that they become so much fearful because of Hiranyakashipu. All those fears are taken away when Hiranyakashipu is killed by Narasimha. For persons who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of your Lordship, all the opulences which were taken away from us by the demons are counted as nothing. Devotees do not care even for liberation, what to speak of these material opulences. Who are engaged in transcendental love. Actually, we are not enjoyers of the fruits of sacrifices. Our only duty is to always be engaged in your service, for you are the enjoyer of everything. Okay. So, Mummy, would you like to read last paragraph? Then so we are meant to be enjoyed by Krishna. She is there or not? Yeah. Okay. 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 Tomorrow is Shivratri, no? Or today is Shivratri. phrase today. Okay, okay. The purport of this statement by Indra is that beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant ant, no living entities are meant for enjoying the material opulences. They are simply meant for offering everything to the supreme proprietor, the personality of God. By doing so, they automatically enjoy the benefit. The example can be cited again of the different parts of the body, collecting foodstuffs and cooking them so that ultimately a meal may be offered to the stomach. Yeah. After it has gone to the stomach, all the parts of the body equally enjoy the benefit of the meal. So, similarly, everyone's duty is to satisfy the Supreme Lord, and then automatically everyone will become satisfied. Yasmin Tushte Jagat Tushta. We have uh, we have discussed the story of Durvasa Muni, right? Akshay Patra. So just like when all of us come together for any spiritual activity, immediately we experience some bliss. So actually, we are coming together for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. And since we are sincere in our intention, in our purpose, that's why Krishna is merciful on all of us. Yes. Next, Sumran Mataji, you want to read? So pure devotee is always relishing the lotus feet, the bhakti rasa from the lotus feet of Krishna. So that's why they are since they are completely satisfied, they are not hankering for anything else. In the ninth canto of the Bhagavatam, fourth chapter, verse 67, the Lord of Vaikuntha replies to Durvasa Muni thus: my pure devotees are always satisfied being engaged in devotional service, and therefore they do not aspire even after the five liberated stages, which are to be one with me to achieve residence on my planet. Yeah, this is Salukya, this is Sarupya, to have his opulences, Samipya, to possess bodily features, this is Sarupya, to gain personal association, Samipya. Salokya, Sayujya, Samipya, Sarupya, and Shasti. Shasti is, I think, to be one. So when they are not interested even in these liberated positions, you can know how little they care for material opulences or material liberation. Yeah. There is a similar prayer by the Nagapatnis in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Nagapatnis say, their dear Lord, the dust of your lotus feet is very wonderful. Any person who is fortunate enough to achieve this dust does not care for heavenly planets, lordship over all the planetary systems, the mystic perfections of yoga, or even liberation from material existence. In other words, anyone who adores the dust of your lotus feet does not care a fig for all other perfectional states. So once you taste even a drop of the nectar from the lotus feet of Krishna, then you will never forget it. You will never give up Krishna consciousness. Okay. Yeah, Pavan Prabhu, want to read next paragraph? Then we'll just close. Pavan Prabhu is there or he has gone? Okay, maybe. Okay. There is a similar statement in the 10th canto, 87, chapter 21st verse, wherein the Vedas personified pray to the Lord as follows: Dear Lord, it is very difficult to understand spiritual knowledge. Your appearance here, just as you are, is to explain to us this most difficult subject of knowledge of the Spirit. As such, your devotees who have left their domestic comforts to associate with the liberated acharyas are now fully merged in the devotional service of your Lordship, and thus they do not care for any so called liberation. Their domestic comforts to associate with the liberated. So we have to come out of our comfort zone, then only we'll experience the association of devotees. Okay, we'll continue next Sunday. Okay, I will just send the screenshot in the group. Any questions? Somebody has raised the hand. You can ask. Fully merged. क्या मतलब क्या डाउट आ रहा है इसमें मर्ज वर्ड यूज समझ में नहीं आ रहा है क्या हो रहा है हाँ yes how to question how to our Maharaj says all how to question answer is sadhu sangha. Those who are already submerged in the full transcendental bliss of that is sweet of Krishna, you should take their association. So you have to do some austerity, some endeavor in order to take association of Krishna. For example, I am telling all of you, you should register for Maharaj Yatra. That is the biggest way in which you can step out of your comfort zone. At least for 1 or 2 days, you will come from Haridwar to Vrindavan. It will take traveling 500 kilometers in college life. When you are not earning, you have to tolerate your parents also. All those things are there. So that is the austerity. That is the stepping out of leaving the domestic comfort zone. And then we have to find those liberated acharyas also who are who are merged. So these are our Guru Maharaj. All these are our Prabhupada disciples. So होता ऐसे ही है जो है ऑलरेडी उनका एसोसिएशन करो जब जब में टेस्ट कैसे आएगा जब जब अच्छा तभी होगा जब जिनका जब अच्छा होता है उनके साथ जब करोगे प्रभुपाद हाउस में जब करके देखो एक बार वृंदावन में तो सारा टेस्ट आ जाएगा एक ही बार में तो जिसके पास टेस्ट है मतलब यू कैन गिव व्हाट यू हैव यू कैन नॉट गिव व्हाट यू डोंट हैव so you have to find those sadhus who have the bhakti who have that hankering to serve the Lord. And baki, then whatever Krishna gives, we have to be satisfied. Whatever association he is giving, we should understand that is the best for us at that moment. And then slowly, we will understand like Krishna is shaping our life. It's like an embroidery. Krishna is stitching, making one stitch every year. After 20 years, it will be two stitches. It will look like a beautiful design. So if you are sincere, then Krishna will make your yeah make a nice design out of your subtle body. So please come for yatra. I will send the dates. I'll send it today in the group. Okay. Okay, Mataji, does it answer a little bit? Yeah. Devotee association is the answer for everything. Wherever it is, you should take at whatever level they are able to give. You should be happy. You should be uh, grateful for what they are giving. Haridwar also there is a center. In Dehradun also there is very nice center. Villa Purushottam Prabhu Sarvane. So without devotee association, you will not understand these texts. And then I'm asking you to come to in the evening. So वही है ना कि मतलब रामायण हो गया. I don't want to be very very heavy here, but still मतलब what is told, what is prescribed in Shastra, we have to do to some extent. Then only we will get answers to these questions. These are repeated questions only. ठीक है? Okay. Thank you very much for assembling. It was very nice discussing Krishna Radha. Hare Krishna.